when somebody's average conversion rate drops, is it really a bad thing?
No, basically not at all. So many things can happen that have an influence on your online store's conversion rate. For example, the share of your mobile traffic can increase, or for example, you have a new campaign on Facebook or in Google Display, for example, you have a higher share of the new visitors. And it doesn't mean that something bad happened. You can absolutely review the conversion rate differently per each traffic source. Like you can also check if, for example, from Facebook your conversion rate is different or not, or from Google search, from Google paid, is it a difference? And you will get a much clearer picture on one thing. Another thing could happen. For example, your average order value increased. So it doesn't matter, and sometimes your increase in average order value is higher than the drop in conversion rate. So basically, at the end of the day, it's a good thing for you. And sometimes there are trends that have an influence on the whole market, on the whole industry. So you can also check your competitors' conversion rate if it's changed or not. As I know, in Conversific, you have a tool for that in the benchmark reports, right?
That's absolutely right. So to rephrase your words, basically you're saying that the average conversion rate, whether it drops or not, by itself is only data, and it's not real information, because you need to have the whole picture, the whole story. You need to have some corresponding IROR KPIs and context. Of course, in Conversific, you can really understand the whole story, and I think what Conversific is particularly good about is that you can really understand these connections between your certain KPIs. So you can, for example, go into more details behind your average conversion rates. For example, we have a whole report in conversions, and you can dig down deep. For example, you can see the conversion rate of each of your marketing channel. You can see the conversion rate of your product. You can see the conversion rate and the micro conversion rates of each of your steps in your purchase funnel. And you can also compare your own KPIs, like conversion rate, like the conversion rate of your steps in the funnel, with competitors who are most relevant to you, so you can really decide. You had a background of being an e-commerce expert previously. How would you find a tool like Conversific? Would it make your life easier if you could have access to it before?
Yeah, first I checked the Conversific application. I realized that for my clients, I did many repetitive tasks as an analyst. So I built data studio dashboards. I used all the data from Google Analytics and from spreadsheets and from the company's own databases. And I tried to create some dedicated reports for the owners of the stores. And with Conversific, I don't need to do that. And it doesn't mean that no more need for an analyst or for me.
Sure.
I can focus on the actions. So how can I improve the metrics we really need to improve? And it can be a really big help. And to be honest, my IROR rate, my price is quite high to do the repetitive things again and again, every day, every month. And I can scale up as a consultant. For example, using Conversific. So it's a very good thing. And another thing I wanted to mention, that even a KPI is dropped or increased. It doesn't mean anything, but it's important what is your goal. So for example, you would like to increase your revenues and your conversion rate is dropped, but the revenue increased, that's fine. But sometimes if your marketers doing some changes in your campaigns, sometimes, for example, the traffic and the revenue from Facebook can drop, which can increase your average conversion rate. And if your goal is to increase the revenue, it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
but on the other hand, if your goal is to increase your online store's profit, you can sometimes just shut up or decrease the volume of your different campaigns. You will be able to increase your profit, or sometimes your conversion rate increased, but your profit possibly dropped. And it still won't meet your targets. So it's always important that every KPI change should be put into your context and compared to what your goals are.
Yeah, this is the important thing. You get the the details behind your KPIs, which are just only part of the whole story by themselves. And where real magic is when you can really put these pieces together like quickly and accurately, and an expert like yourself can step in and create a strategy or know what the necessary steps should be.
This is the most important thing, that our technology in data analysis is skyrocket, but we really need to have analysts to put the data into context and help the store owners to understand what's happening in their store. That will mean that the store owners will be able to make much better decisions.
The store's owners or the business owners are usually very, very busy, and it's not necessarily their job to be skilled analysts and to be able to know everything about marketing. So it's like PPC part of marketing is like it requires a different expertise. It's like a whole subject or a whole topic or a whole field of knowledge just by itself. And there are lots of other parts of marketing, and there's inventory management, and there's leadership, and you need to make sure that you meet your deadlines and everybody gets paid, and you need to uphold the warehouse and so on and so on. So it's not necessarily the job of a store owner, business owner, to do everything by themselves, but especially when they are just starting up or when they're a bit smaller, they need to be creative, and they need to outsource certain things, certain jobs, tasks. And I think Conversific or a tool like Conversific can be especially helpful because it can save a lot of time and hassle and make life easier.
I used to send a lot of great reports to the store owners, and they didn't really read them. So sometimes they asked me just for a few numbers. Okay, just write these 4 or 5 KPIs numbers, and how did they change? So yeah, definitely. We really need, our store owners really need more focused data and smarter data analysis tools. The role of a data analyst will be a bit different for the future regarding the store owners. I guess they will be able to make smarter and faster decisions.
According to you, what are the future trends of e-commerce? What do you see?
Ooh, that's very hard. I guess the voice search and voice commerce will increase. As I see the data, for example, for US, the voice assistants impact on e-commerce is growing. AI assistant will be smarter. E-commerce platforms will somehow create integrations for that. And that's one thing. The other thing, that the voice UI and conversational UI will be, much more common for online shops. You will be doing some kind of conversation with your customers. The site search is getting smarter and smarter. So you will be able to find your desired products much faster. But I guess the next step will be that it will be some kind of conversation with the voice chat. I guess it will increase the conversion rate, for the whole industry. Because sometimes, it's like kind of a naming convention problem. So you're creating your categories, right? And the product descriptions are created sometimes by the brands or factories. And sometimes it's pretty hard to find for the customers what they really need or differentiate between similar products. And this kind of the voice commerce and voice UI, the conversation UI will help to find what they really need for that. For example, like real people, if you go to an offline store, you can have a conversation right, with the shop assistants, and they will help you, they will assist you. But that's what's not happening now on the online space.
What you say, it basically implies that data is going to be more and more important, and more data is going to be generated. So, for example, a couple of years ago, maybe it was uncommon to have and store such amounts of data which we do today, and in the future it's probably going to be even greater. After a limit, it's going to be past a certain threshold when the role of an analyst is going to be to collect all of this data and to really interpret it, but more like they are going to need a tool like Conversific which can do this for them. So collect the data, interpret the data, so they can have a subset of the data which is really important to them, and then they can work with that subset of data with lots of predictions and insights, right?
These kind of analytic tools, like what Conversific is, will become something like a virtual analyst application with a voice UI, and you will be able to make a real conversation with your virtual analyst, and you can ask real questions like what the store owners do with me or with other e-commerce analysts, right? So what's the problem in my website? My conversion rate dropped. What's wrong with them? Is it a bad thing for me or not? Or what steps should I take to increase my average order value or increase my profit or increase my revenue? And these applications will be able to answer.
So you really think that in the near future it's going to be completely automated because this is something which is doable, and basically there won't be a need for real life human beings to be the analyst, basically?
We will have analysts, like real people for sure, but they will basically find new tactics or building strategies, and all the repetitive tasks will be done by applications for sure. On one hand. On the other hand, the analyst applications or virtual analyst applications will provide some kind of, general knowledge, right? And in the next 5 years, I don't think that there will be automated marketing campaign managers in the virtual analyst apps. So like, for example, you will get some certain scenarios that you can do this, you can do that.
Based on your own data, there's 5 solutions, and which one you choose. And hey, I choose this one, and okay, let's go with that one then. And that's it. That sounds interesting. That's wonderful. Cool.
Yeah, but I don't know, in 10 or 15 years, maybe everything will be automated.
Like mirror on the wall, who has the fairest conversion rate of them all?
So, for example, the ad platforms will be connected to your e-shop, and your analyst program will be able to orchestrate all the actions between them. You will just, set targets or something like this. For example, Google Ads is definitely going to that direction.
The e-commerce area or the e-commerce market is moving towards subscription-based models, so something like SaaS and products in SaaS. So it's like repeat revenue, loyalty, return customers, customer lifetime value. What I see is that this is getting more and more important.
It depends on the industry. So like, for example, let's look at these microphones. They are built for a lifetime, but there are certain kind of products, maybe like FMCG or fashion items that you can sell as kind of a subscription.
And another trend which I've been seeing more and more lately is segmentation, personalization in e-commerce as well. So it's like people are starting to think in more like understanding the user or customer journey. So what people are doing, like multi-channel attributions, through which channel they come, they visit, they convert, through which content, and this could be very complicated. And I think that segmentation, personalization is kind of like the answer to this question or problem where the industry moves.
We have a privacy war between, Apple, Google, and Facebook, and maybe the government as well. And the tech giants, they would like to get as much data as possible from the users, from their behavior, and on the other hand, the governments and sometimes the people, the media, and Apple don't want that, right? And so there's currently a problem in iOS 14. You will be needed to work with your own data, for sure, and it will be important to use it as much as possible. So what you can get from your site or from your own media, it will be important, your emails, so you will have to communicate directly to your customers. But getting third-party data like from what they are doing on Facebook or on the internet, it will be really hard to do. So maybe it will be a little bit harder than nowadays.
Do you think that cookies will be completely eradicated? And if yes, then are we going to have anything in place of cookies?
At the moment, it's hard to know. What I know so far, Google is working on their own sites on something which can be some kind of server-side tracking system. At Conversific, I guess we will try to work with the industry standards. So what Google is using, we will be using, and we will be able to tell as much information about the users as Google.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to
possible.
reinvent the wheel, and we don't really want to like get in the ring with Google. It wouldn't make too much sense.
Yeah, but it's wartime.
Yeah, sure. I agree, man. So thank you so much for this conversation and all of your insights. I really much enjoyed experiencing and learning from you and getting your wisdom, and I hope you guys did too. So let us know, how did you like these questions and this talk, and if you have anything coming up, if you've got inspired or you have any questions, just let us know and we will reply personally.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.